My grandmother's house always smelled like starch and lemon oil. Even after she died, even after the hospice-bed was removed and the curtains were drawn open, the smell lingered in the wood. The place had been sealed in routine for 50 years. Nothing shifted unless she approved it. When the will was read, the house was left to me, not my father, not my aunt, me, no explanation. Just a quiet line, a document that redirected the center of gravity in our family. My parents said it made sense. I was more practical. My sister shrugged, but she didn't hide her confusion. A week after the funeral, I hired a renovation company. The wiring was outdated. The kitchen hadn't been touched since the late 80s. I told myself I was modernizing it before selling. Maybe I also wanted to air it out. The foreman, a steady man named Carlos, called me on a Thursday morning. His voice was controlled in a way that made my stomach tighten. "Mom, we found something during demo in the upstairs hallway. I think you should come immediately." "What kind of something?" A pause. "I'd rather show you. And don't mention this to your parents or sister yet." That was when my chest went hollow. When I turned onto the street, there were 2 police cars parked in front of the house. No flashing lights. Just presence. Carlos met me on the porch. He didn't smile. "They opened the wall where the old linen closet was," he said quietly. There was a hollow section behind it. Inside, an officer stood near the staircase. Drywall dust coated the air. A square section of plaster had been cut cleanly, revealing a narrow crawlspace no wider than a suitcase. A metal lockbox sat on the hallway floor. The officer approached me. "Are you the legal owner of the property?" "Yes, we were called because concealed compartments sometimes involve contraband or remains." "That's protocol. We've opened the container." He gestured toward the box. Inside were documents, carefully bundled. Not random storage, preserved birth certificates, court orders, old photographs sealed in plastic. One name appeared repeatedly. Mine, but the birth certificate at the top did not list my mother. It listed a different woman. My hands went cold. I crouched down, turning the paper over as if it might rearrange itself. The officer spoke carefully. "There's no evidence of a crime here. These appear to be legal records. Adoption proceedings. Adoption." I knew my grandmother had been protective of me as a child. I knew there were family difficulties around the time I was born. But I had grown up believing my parents were simply young and overwhelmed. There, in stamped ink, was a petition granting temporary guardianship of an infant, me, to my grandmother. Filed 3 weeks after my birth, another document followed. A court order reinstating parental rights to my father and his wife when I was 4. I had no memory of that transition. The officer flipped through additional papers. "There are also death records here," he said. The name matched the woman on my original birth certificate. Cause of death undetermined. Year the year I turned 1. My throat tightened. "Was this ever asked to you?" "No." He nodded. "Not surprised. From what I see, the adoption and guardianship were legal. But falsified amendments to vital records sometimes require administrative review. You may be contacted by the county." Administrative review. My identity had shifted from personal to procedural in the span of 10 minutes. As I stood there, my father's car pulled into the driveway. Someone on the street must have called him about police. He stepped out, saw the cruisers, and froze inside. When he saw the documents spread across the hallway floor, his face changed in a way I had never witnessed. Less anger, more inevitability. "You weren't supposed to find that like this," he said. "Like what?" I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. He glanced at the officer, then back at me. "She wasn't safe," he said quietly. "Your biological mother." The word biological landed heavy. "She struggled." He conviction. "Violence. When you were born, things escalated. My mother, your grandmother, filed for guardianship to protect you." "And the death certificate?" I asked. He hesitated. "She disappeared," he said. "Months later they found her. It was ruled accidental, but there were questions." The hallway felt narrower. "You were going to tell me?" I asked. He said, but not convincingly. "When it felt right." My grandmother had sealed the documents inside a wall. Not destroyed them. Preserved them. The officer closed the lockbox. "These are yours now," he said. Will file a note that no criminal matter was found. Authority had entered, observed, and exited. The secret was no longer confined to family memory. It was recorded, after the police left. My father and I sat on the dusty stairs. I thought you knew enough, he said. That knowing more would only complicate things. It already was complicated, I replied. He didn't argue. That night I took the lockbox home. I spread the documents across my dining table, dates, signatures, margins filled with my grandmother's neat annotations. I realized something slowly. She hadn't hidden the truth to erase it. She had hidden it to preserve it until I was ready. The renovation continues. The false wall is gone now. The hallway feels wider. I haven't decided whether I'll keep the house. I haven't decided what to do with my father's explanation. But when I look at my name now, I see it layered. Not replaced, just expanded, and that is harder, and more honest, than the life I thought I understood.